I give it up. It's like you're not going to go buy a new car. What I got to do, I got to pay this. It's going to cost me $50,000. I'll say exactly. Yeah. But it gets me there. It gets me through. It lets me progress with my life and things to work. So me. Because I know every how many more students is this new year? Say there's 10 new students. Let's say 10. How much more money is that going to bring to him? Because I know in Davidson County, first week of school, every day their number counts. Because that counts matters how much money you get from the state to pay for the teachers and whether they can get fund more teachers or less teachers. So the number of students, if it increases, that should be more money to the school. How much is that? Or is that counted in the budget? Am I just thinking it wrong? Which is what you're supposed to do. And that's why I was Dr. Kepke told me, I need to correct counts and do it several days in a row. If they're not there, and they were here the first day, they're not there the second day, you still don't count because they're not there. Which, might suck. But how does that affect the money that needs to be out by this? If you're going to get down to $400,000, okay, what? I know you don't afford ball, but what are you going to see in the future that might happen? Or might need money for? Anything? Maybe nothing. Maybe something. Cool. I'll do the same. What'd you put out? Tax increase. I mean, they want to do emergency something. Well, let's do first. I had to do taxpayers. They want tax rate.
Go ahead, you got a copy.
Yes.
We got Parks and Rec Thursday. Thursday night.
That's all I
Well, I just did not want to leave. Two winners went
Well, because I said, I think that's the man of the VFW, which I gave up. She was paying Lexi $17 It's 9-4, Monday and Friday. 14 hours. She wants $12.5. You break that down, it comes up to $17 a month. So she's out there. I've had veterans calls. I've had veterans call my quartermaster. I've had veterans call my senior vice commander saying, we need some help with the veterans assistant for blocking the service officer. He's not a state certified VFW service officer, so he can only give suggestions. He can't give advice. He can't tell you what to do. Because if he tells them VFW life, so they got to go to who's the county service officer. Before she was in that office, I was at Macon County or Wilson County. But better, I don't know. We need to she's open on Monday through Friday night. So I've gone down there at 10 o'clock on a Monday. And check it out. She can do a damn job. Yes. I gave them commander because we have our county court next month. It's usually the same day night. We have our district meeting. I can't make it as commander. So David Chamberlain, senior vice, he's been working on the commander can vote on something. When I'm not there, we got no say as far as so I said, David, let's me and you swap. I'll be commander, you be commander, you can go, and I'll be senior vice. I hate doing it because I like being commander, but I got that for it. Just like some of these people for the VFW. It's just like the Tuesday night based on Tuesday. That's what I teach. I'm not going to get that. If I know August, whatever it's going to be, committee meeting, then I can change my syllabus. Have a night off that night, change it around. When I get to 2 or 3 weeks before, I can't do that to the kids. It's just going to mess my whole syllabus. Because kids are making their plans for class when I get the syllabus on the first of the year for the vacation or whatever. So I'm going to change that. It could be a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
I got you come to order, ladies and gentlemen. We need to get through this agenda that's in front of us. Open court, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Richard Johnson has an invocation. Pledge to the American flag is Commissioner Gregory. Mr. Crowder will call the roll. Approval of the minutes. I know you haven't had time to read them, but read them this week. You've got till next Monday night to read them. And then we can approve them and make any different changes that needs to be made in them at that time. Okay? Announcements. Do we have any announcements, Mayor? I don't have anything down.
Not that I'm aware of, Mr. Not that I'm aware of, Mr. Chairman.
Bakery's open tomorrow.
I guess we can do that. The Sweet Country Bakery is having a ribbon cutting at 11 a.m. tomorrow with the Chamber of Commerce. If anyone wants to attend, you get your picture in the paper.
Are they giving out Sam?
Be there.
Not to my knowledge, it just says they're cutting the ribbons.
We don't have any amendments to the agenda either, do we?
Not to my knowledge.
No citizens' response tonight. Do you have anything, Mayor, you will talk about?
Well, I'll just do it very, very quickly as we're behind.
It's all right. Go ahead.
My report's going to consist of landfill, streetscape, a thing with W&T&K, Retail Academy, and I was going to announce the Sweet Country Bakery, which I've already done that. So the landfill, the construction plans should be submitted to TDEC by Friday. Streetscape, if you look at what I handed out, it says notice of contractors. This project was put out to bid on June 14th on TDOT's website. We're actually going to have it for 2 weeks running with IDET also. With WT&K, the county and WT&K entered into a memorandum of understanding for WT&K to mount a low power FM antenna onto the Pumpkin Branch Pipe Tower to extend their range, and what we get out of it is there's an app they're going to give the Sheriff's Department and emergency services that if there's an emergency, they can pull up this app, log in, interrupt WTNK's feed, and do a live emergency announcement right there on using that app. And then do that anywhere they've got Wi-Fi access. They could be in Panama City Beach and get a thing and say, hey, we break in and do it back in Hartsville. The Retail Academy is going to be a training to increase retail recruitment into the community. This was done through a grant through ECD. It's $10,000. It takes place on July 22nd. Myself, Mr. Brian King, and Natalie Knudsen from the Chamber of Commerce are going to attend. And for that grant, we were one of only 14 local governments in the state that got it, and it was open to every county and municipality in the state, and there was only 14 that got it. We were one of them. And then again, as I already said, the Sweet Country Bakery's having an open, the ribbon cutting tomorrow at 11 a.m. You can stop by, do a ribbon cutting, get your picture in the paper, and maybe pick up some pastries, though if you're like me, you probably need to lay off of them.
Do you want to say anything about streetscape?
The streetscape I did, that was the notice of the contractors. Oh, yeah, let me finish up. There were some details I left out. There's going to be a pre-bid meeting on June 25th in the mayor's office at 2 p.m. That's for any contractors that want to bid on it, ask any questions of the engineers. And then the bid opening will be July 9th at 2 p.m. also in the mayor's office.
Any questions from the mayor? Thank you, Mayor. Let's see. We'll say committee reports, we don't usually do that in a work session. If you will, turn to acknowledgements. Oh, I had it right here. We have a resignation by Alex Seaborn from the Economic Development. Item number 2 is debt management policy, annual review. That's your next thing there. I'd suggest to you that sometime this week you spend some time and become more familiar with that. There's nothing we need to do with that tonight, are there, Mayor?
No.
Just,
There's no motion or anything that needs to be done on it.
what?
Even at the commission meeting, there's no motion that needs to
Right.
be done on it.
But this is for your benefit, so you know all you can know about debt management. And if you will, turn to resolutions. I'll miss appointments, we'll go back to appointments. Appointments, library board reappointments. John Oliver, Linda Carey, Rhonda Kiesling, and Rose Kelly will be up for reappointment next Monday night. Also, to the Economic Development Committee, Mr. Scott Graves. Scott, raise your hand if you would. Everybody know Scott? He's is up for appointment next Monday night as well. Now, the next one is what's very important. We don't get nothing right tonight. We need to get this right. Resolution 2019-15-662 is continuing the FY 2019 budget. Everybody understand that? Since we're not going to pass the budget until July, August, whichever it's going to be, then we have to pass this resolution allowing all of our entities to continue to function. They'll be functioning under the existing budget, not the new one. Okay? Any questions about that? Also, Resolution 2019-16-663, if you'll turn to page 23 of 47, these are all of the lease agreements or companies that we have lease agreements with. Take a little time and look at that. If there's any questions, hold them the next Monday night. Resolution 2019-17-664 That's our nonprofit organizations that we deal with. Habilitation and training services, Mid-Cumberland Human Services and Chamber of Commerce, a total of $24,500. That we will need to approve next Monday night.
Do we need to do those,
That's part of it.
Sure, go ahead.
do we need to do those before the budget is approved? Because this is a part of the budget for the next year.
Good
They
question.
should be a part of the budget.
Good question.
I don't think that needs to be.
We think about it, Amy, we need to hold off on that.
It's up to you.
Well, I mean, we might change those. I mean, that's,
Has that been increased any, Mayor? Was that increased any from last year?
No, I believe we just carried those amounts over.
So why can't we continue?
I know, but
on?
I'm just saying, you're obligating money into a budget that you haven't approved.
That is correct. I was going off the presumption since nobody argued against it last week. And it's up to you if you want to keep this resolution in place or if you
I
want to
think
hold off
that
until
needs to be put off.
It
I
didn't
think-
raise any.
Well,
What if
that's the
they
kind
need some money?
of, that's the kind of thing that we can get a finding on.
What if they need some money?
What do you mean?
Will any of them requisition any money from you?
No.
Oh,
they get
if
paid
not,
once a
we can
year.
hold off on it then.
I think that
We'll
just
just scratch through that one. How about that? We won't bring it up until we
Just table it until
Right.
we deal with the budget.
Resolution 2019-8665, and that is appointed committee for census. Do we have a committee for that?
This is something that the federal government's wanting all the local governments to come up with. They're called a complete count committee, and what it is supposed to try to spread the word about the census, try to get more people to participate this time. They want to try to get as many people as they can participating by online, phone, or mail, so they don't have to send people out to their houses, and they want you to establish a committee inside your community to spread the word. This thing I handed out, it says, what is subcommittee structure of CCC? Really, the reason I handed this out is there's kind of a little diagram on the back. It just gives you kind of a general idea of the people who want to be on this committee. And this is a completely voluntary committee. Once it's established, they can volunteer to be a part of it. It's people like your schools, religious organizations, civic organizations, people from nonprofit organizations that may be in town or in the community, heads of business associations, those kind of things, and they can all volunteer to be on it. So they want you to make it as eclectic group as you can to try to reach every sector of the county and make sure we have as much participation as we can. Because this does can have an effect on federal funding, and it most definitely has an effect on redistricting on the state, federal, and local level.
Are we going to appoint a committee for this work?
My understanding reading through it is you just have to establish the committee, and then after that people can volunteer to be a part of it.
All right, let's see. Ordinances. I guess these ordinances are going to have to be held back. Because we have not passed the county general tax levy and the general expense appropriation, the urban service district tax levy and the urban service district expense appropriations. All that's going to have to wait on, isn't it?
Yep.
All right, let's move on to budget amendments. The budget committee, we went through these rather hurriedly, but since it's interdepartmental transfers, it's not like we're spending new money. We're not. We can handle them all at once. You can look at them. The general fund 2019-101-23, sheriff's insurance recovery. Got another deer. 2019-101-24 year-end cleanup. 2019-101-25 health department flooring. 2019-101-26 is tobacco cessation grant. 2019-101-27 is EMA donation. That's all in general. Urban, we have one. 2019-111-03. Again, that's year-end cleanup. 118 ambulance fund, 2019, 11804, year-end cleanup entry. 131 highway fund, year-end cleanup entry. Two of them in the state aid program, Sulphur College. This was asphalt on one of the roads. Was that Sulphur College road where that money was spent on?
Yes, sir. Let's paving it right now.
The general school fund, we have several there. Special education program transfer, vocational contracted services attendance, construction support, elementary renovations, after-school program, Tennessee Art Commission grant, food service, early childhood education. All these are interdepartmental transfers. They're not new monies. At this time, we do not have any notaries. Do we have any other business that you want to take up?
Amy, do you think you're gonna have any other budget amendments?
I cannot say for sure.
Okay, but there may be some.
There might be one or two.
Ms. Johnson?
I was going to ask the mayor if he remembers what the hourly rate for the census people, the hourly that they were going to pay when they give us, do you remember like 16?
I don't remember.
It pays pretty good, because I went to that class.
Traditionally,
I think
it
it's like
pays
50.
Yeah,
very well.
it pays pretty well. We had one of those classes up in Gatlinburg, and I went to it. I didn't get much out of it, but I went.
Just curious.
Hey, he was already
I
there.
don't want to ask it public, but
Any other questions from anyone?
I just like to say,
Mr. Greg?
Parks and Rec committee meeting Thursday night, 6 o'clock.
Parks and Rec, 6, Mr.
And Economic Development Committee tomorrow night at 6 o'clock.
Here, everybody's here. Mr. Walsh, you had your hand up.
no, I'll wait. Thank you.
Anybody else? You didn't get agendas this month, did you? You didn't get these this month, did you? Because they were not ready, were they, Miss Amy? Everything folded in at one time. We apologize for that, but we nothing we could do about it. We've had about, the mayor and I had about 3 meetings
I think
with
something's discussed.
Clint trying to get that straightened out.
I do got a question.
Yes.
On my glasses. On resolution 219-15-662 about extending the budget year,
Mm-hmm.
how was that in there when the motion to do that didn't happen until the Budget and Finance Committee 30 minutes ago?
It was just in case.
Because we did not expect it to pass tonight. If it don't pass tonight,
Just like if we didn't, we take it out.
But is
Yeah.
it?
we can always take them out, but if we ain't got it in there, we
Well, I think it's standard procedure, part of your passing a budget in case you don't actually get it through on county commission, you have your continuing resolutions in place to keep you
Yeah,
going
if it had
after July
passed, then we
1st.
just take that out.
We've
Yeah,
always done it, I think, even when we did it on time.
Okay.
if you don't need it, you just can it, lay it on the table, or do something with it.
Makes sense. Thank you.
I really want to tell y'all how hard the mayor has labored with trying to get this budget in some perspective. You want to speak to that?
Well, I do, but just to, it's not me laboring, it's Amy that's laboring over this. I mean, she
Amy
might bring
has
it to
to.
me and I scratch out a few things here and there, but calculating all that stuff, just like the estimates that are in the budget, that's the most accurate she can get at the time. That's Amy doing all that and putting it into as much information as you can to see exactly where we stand. That's Amy that does that. It's not me. That's my office staff. That's Miss Thomas working with the other officials. So there's no congratulations needed on my part. All I do is come and say, okay, that looks good, or what about this?
You've been very,
It goes on Miss Thomas.
very careful with it, yes.
Also, I do appreciate the excellent job you did, because it was very well done, very plain. Information was there. It was
My line item is 51,300, 106, if anybody.
If you could,
Mr. Jones,
one small request, if there's room, can we make the font a little bigger? The old eyes don't see that fine print real good.
Yes,
But I did like the color code.
We knew this year it was gonna be tough, and, because we knew the school had lost some money, and I know that, Amy and the mayor worked diligently trying to figure out a way. We're faced with some big things right in front of us, the school is faced with this, so I don't know what a happy medium is. I can't give you the answer right now, but we'll do what we have to do. I will say this, and I told the mayor didn't want to raise taxes, neither did I. But the year when you had your reassessment, that is an excellent time to raise some. And we may have to raise it this year and again next year. I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna have to do. But I think you're doing the right thing by putting it off a little while and not just rushing into it. Mr. Ferguson.
I think what Mr. Jewell said in the last hour ought to be repeated again as to how we got to the situation we got to. I think he made an excellent point. It's not just one thing that has caused us to be in a position that
That's right. That's exactly
it was
right.
a tax deduction, so some of the money has gone back. There's been 3 or 4 different components. You might want to.
Well, I just said it's not just the BEP formula,
No,
the
it's
fact
not.
that the state has cut the funding on schools. It's the fact that we cut our revenues when we cut the tax rate the last few years. So there was less money coming in. Then we had these major expenses that came in, and we spent a lot of money on a lot of things that was overdue being done. I say we, I wasn't a part of that at the time, but that's what got us here. It wasn't any one thing, it was several things. And we don't need to lose sight of that.
And during those time periods where the tax deductions were made, was also a time in which our fund balances continued to grow, continue to grow. Well, maybe we can take things back to the tax.
I'm not saying they were bad decisions.
No, but that's
at all.
some of the things that were
I
going on.
mean, at the time, with the information and the situation, but those are the things that have put us to where we are now. So we just need to do what we need to do.
Well, I think Ms. Jones made an excellent point earlier. We need to start thinking about other sources of revenue. We've thought of several. Half-cent sales tax would bring in several dollars. One thing I know some of you didn't want to do, but in 22, May the 5th of 22, your wheel tax is gone. That's $330,000 that the whole county's paying. And like she said, this first big shot, and maybe again next year, is going to fall back on 38% of the people. Give that some thought before we just rush in and kill the people that put us in here, guys. It's a big move. I know I helped write the debt blame thing. And we said in May, when that school was paid off, it was gone. And it will be gone from that school. But I don't know how we're going to be able to eliminate it from county government.
Well, if we have a good reason, the people will
That's
go along with it. I mean, if we don't have a good reason for it, they're not. It's that simple.
That's right.
You know, we got several big things that we're facing that I think the public will want us to do, and will approve it, just like they did last time for the school.
Well, I'm really proud to see TDEC step up and pay hopefully half of that landfill thing up there. That's something that's come from nowhere, and it bit us, you know. That $322,000 that we're giving to that with landfill, which they say we own forevermore, we could have given that to the school this year, and we wouldn't have to raise taxes very much. Yes, sir.
Speaking of what we're talking here, the reasons we might be in the spot we're in, will the new reappraisal for this year, the 2018, we reappraised in 2016, which is somewhat where got us where we are now, what I understand.
Part of it.
Will this new, part of it, will this new reappraisal not hit us in 1 to 2 years down the road as well? And that's something we need to be kind of forward thinking about.
It's 5 years, ain't it? It's 5 years.
Every 5 years, basically.
That's not what I'm saying.
What you're
There was a
saying-
reappraisal
About the price
in 2016.
increase.
There was a new reappraisal this year. And the reappraisal, my understanding, the reappraisal in 2016 got us to where we, with the loss of money, BEP funding, a better income from the county. Am I missing something there, or is that?
With the last year's appraisal, the state dropped it, we were at 310. State dropped it to 3, county dropped it to 293. That's 7 cents there that we could have kept. That's it. That's part of what's got us in the problem. Plus all the money that's been spent, raises and all of this in the last couple of years.
Well, your BUP cut came from the prison, which coming onto the tax roll, because it had $140+ million assessment with it.
100% of that change was because of that.
Not 100%. I mean, you had growth and all. I'm not saying the prison accounts for all of it, but when you have $140 million hitting your tax rolls all at one time, that greatly increases your fiscal capacity. So that's why it jumped so much one year. If it had just been the growth we're having now, it probably would have jumped. It was going to jump some just because of growth we've had, but it wouldn't have been 300. I think Dr. Setterfield says $306,000 in 1 year. No, it would have been smaller amounts. It's just since the prison hit, it went up so much. And that would have been if it was a prison or Toyota put a plant here or something like that. Anything that would have had that kind of value hitting the tax rolls all in 1 year would have had that kind of increase in it.
Mr. Ken Buckmaster, I believe you got your hand up.
I hope I understand what Commissioner Gully was asking. The penny was worth $19,000, now it's worth $24,000. Does that not increase the physical capacity of the county?
It will. It
So
will
our contribution to the
yes.
school needs to be even more.
It's not based on the penny value. It's based on the total value of the property inside the county. So since the property went up, I'm guessing 27%, that's what's going to jump up your fiscal capacity. It has nothing to do with the tax rate itself.
Which will likely hit us in 2 years.
Oh yeah, it's
the way the
it's
same
a
thing
train.
it hit us this time.
Yeah, it's a train coming down the track, and I think I've mentioned that in other budget hearings and whatnot. I tried to stress that to everybody with it's not real. Was a current value update that they did, that is going to hurt us because we jumped up. And remember how you do your BUP is it's in comparison of us against other counties across the state. You've got some counties that have actually shrunk, and so that's going to figure into it as well.
I don't know if anyone spent some time this week. We got an email from the state with all BEP salaries. You could go and look at every county you want to go look at. Myself coming into this game new, learning, I've looked through a lot of counties to look at those budgets and those pieces, county input, what's required match, what's the state BEP's match pieces, how does that come from, and all those pieces. If you want to spend some time, we got a good email this week that you go look through and really kind of get an idea of who's paying what, where we at in those pieces. And that's why I brought that piece up, thinking that, okay, now I see a new appraisal in 2018 on here. If we're talking this discussion right now, we think that was part of the same reason, wanting to have some of the same effects. I'm hoping it's not near the same effect we're talking about, but wanting to have some effects to us in about 2 years. And we're already talking about putting something off, but then it's going to hit us again in 2 years.
Go ahead.
But that's based everybody. So everybody's going up as well. So your percentage of change shouldn't change that much over a period of time. Now the reason last time's valuation, we were when they do mass appraisal, it's not what that property is worth today. It is, but it's based on what the property that sold in a 3-year period prior. Well, the last appraisal, we were in a very depressed economy. There wasn't much property selling, and it was selling at rock bottom prices. And then the comps that they pulled for this one were in an inflated market, property selling really well, really quickly, and they had a lot of comps. So that was the difference in the valuation. It more reflects the actual value of the property now than it did then. And that's why it was such a big jump, is because you were going from like a bull market and a bear market, if that makes sense. Yeah, so that's why it was such a jump, is because the comps were based on a suppressed market versus an increase.
Well,
the jumps itself is not, and I appreciate you bringing out that piece, but the jump itself is not what my real worry was. It's the fact that we do see a jump. We're going to be looking at that jump hitting us in the same conversation we're having here. We sign on for some tough conversations, and it's going to be tough in that piece. If we know it's coming, and we
well,
already
Dr. Satterfield is expected to be about 600 next year, where it's 424 this year. Our building is still going strong, but we really believe that it's fixing to go down there. Who knows?
Level
I
off.
don't know. Did Johnson get anything on that?
So what you was talking about, like,
Retail.
you see it in a couple of years coming up, if we start raising it now and next year, and then when it comes due again, then it'd be going up again. Is that kind of what was going to?
After next year, it's gonna level off. It's gonna be there forevermore. All we gotta do is figure out how to pay for it.
What, is that the case? It will level off even with the,
I'm talking about BEP.
even with the increased?
Yeah, because everybody else,
Yeah,
because
so-
it's a valuation, not just yours, in relation to what everybody else's valuation of the state is. So if everybody in the state, for the most part, is increasing, then you should stay the same. We had a big jump, we had a big anomaly is what
We sure did.
caught us on this.
I was making the assumption that with the change in the tax appraisal here, large changes in tax appraisal might get us in the future on DEP. And hopefully they make that same, it wasn't anybody's mistake, we didn't know that was gonna hit. Well, I wasn't here, but y'all didn't know that that was gonna hit this county in that way by any means. Could you predict it? No, I don't think.
Take a look at what a penny's worth now, $24,989 versus the $19,360 something. That tells you that your property went up 25 to 27% in value. So, yeah, it's gonna hit us again next year. I don't know how much, but yeah, it's gonna hit us again next year. BEP is.
That's what I was addressing in that case.
It'll go from 424 to, I don't know.
Shouldn't be as much.
But at least we won't have the prison hitting us.
An
again
extra
next
additional,
year.
at least.
It'll just be the value of the properties what's gonna hit us. Mr. Dickey?
I may get out of the subject, but this landfill problem, could it been solved 15, 20 years ago?
It's been closed for 33 years.
We're paying for the sins of the fathers.
That's right. And that's money that hurt us. That really hurt us this year. Mr. Gregory?
I'd just like to ask Mr. Miller, is Smith County facing this same problem like we hit here?
They're worse.
Worse.
If you read the Carthage Courier, they're looking at a 59-cent property tax increase.
59 cents?
59 cents.
Wilson's
And that's
looking
about
at
non-negotiable
43,
if you want to get down to it.
However, you are correct on a 59-cent tax rate, but their tax rate right now, I believe, is at 214.
214, you are correct.
So 59 cents on 214 is different than ours starting at 245.
What was your penny bring in, Randy?
I wish you hadn't asked me that. I would tell you.
I'm sorry.
Not sure exactly.
What is the schools hitting the, like they hit the BEP deal?
Schools are all right, the general fund, I'll say this politely, gross miscalculation of revenue. And this has been a topic that's been near and dear to my heart for the last 6-7 months now, figuring out ways to wheels taxes, sales taxes, property taxes, the whole 9 yards.
So where did you help down here?
Y'all are doing great right now.
One good thing to look at, this landfill is 1 year, non-reoccurring. So whatever we have to put in it this year, that's money we'll have next year. So that'll help offset some of the increase that we have to give to the schools.
You've also got that $280,000 fire truck.
Unless we want that.
Yeah, we do. Any other questions? Let's stay together now. I'll let you answer, speak, whatever you want to do, but let's don't get in a conversation here. Anything else before we adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second, anybody?
Second.
Third. I mean, you talked about.
Hey, I will say, Orleans having a nice tournament down here. Y'all come down and check them out. There's some good games going
Papers on the
on.
cost.
So right now, everybody's got one off.
And the good time was had
Is that come on down, Lee? Right here, just literally.
Gets a check, right?
We have to process the district tournament next week.
Count forward in there.
When would that come to play? When would you approach it with that?
We did it like 30 minutes, actually, a little longer. We had lightning at 3.2 miles.
You think it would be pretty acceptable to What kind of leverage have you got? Any? No hard-nosed leverage? So you gotta go in there, and just ask nicely and hopefully they'll. Does BEP getting less than the states? I mean, it hits us all over.
They've got no problem riding out the systems, all it takes all the time. Where they gonna do it? They're already there.
Yeah, you mentioned it, so that's what I was asking about. So it'd be next year, we'll have to look at that.
Trying to increase sales tax revenues. Looking to try to revitalize downtown.
The sales revenue would hit 100% of the people in the county, not 38. The wheel tax hit 100% of the people, not 38.
I'm looking at ways to try to divert ways from the landfills, so we save on the interest. Try to get more recycling.
The wheel tax would be a referendum. The increased sales tax, that just ordinance, or is that reference to? Okay. That state did that.
Some presidents will watch them.
Trying to find other revenues.
What's the chance of some meetings somewhere around where the meeting would be that you done finished on this $24,000 per penny versus $19,000 per penny versus $214, $190, all that?
Well, just
I'm making to that effect what all that means. When somebody says it's like X number of dollars per $1,000 in trade rate.
about 3 or 4 times a day to do
Evening times better. I'm back Monday through Friday in Nashville. We leave at 5:30, get home at 5:36. I mean, like maybe a meeting of.
Ruins it, didn't it?
Oh, I think it's handouts. Yeah, do that first.
Kind of year on year and kind of break it down. I get it, and we'll work out something.
And what it means when you see X number of dollars per $1,000 praise, so on and so forth.
Right.
Yeah, if you do some, okay.